Hi everyone, welcome back to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. And today me and Terry are going to be talking about Everton's 1-0 win over Wolves yesterday. Terry, it was a rare home win yesterday. Not a rare one with fans in the ground though. What did you think of it?
It's good. It was, before we get on to the game itself, it's just great to see people back in stadiums, isn't it? Like Goodison with even like a few people in it was just a different animal to the empty stadium stuff we've all got used to. And it just brings a different dimension to football, doesn't it? But I can watch neutral games a lot easier with fans in than I can without. Yeah. And obviously Evertonians had an impact on this game as we'll get into, like the difference they made to the team's performance. So great to see them back. I think the team themselves have finally solved the home form problem. Play like they're the away team, basically. Just act like pretend you're away when you're at home, which, is a terrible time to learn that because we're about to get back to normal and it won't feel like that anymore, but it is what it is.
Do you know what, Terry? I could have told you
that in January, mate. That needed to be the game plan. Why we didn't just play the away game at home in these games that we needed to win. I remember being absolutely fuming against Sheffield United. During Sheffield United, I was convinced we were paid to throw that game. How bad we actually were. Like it was just the constant turning back. And in this game, we sort of, I don't know, we just we realised that we don't have the ability or the creativity to go out and smash the team. So no, it was good the fact that in the first half they just had loads of corners. I know because I was one of the lucky ones who got to go and I was sat in a great seat right behind the goal in the Gladys Street. And it was great because I was seeing loads of dead up close corners. It was great. But it was the only good thing about the first half was that I had lots of action down my end. But we just thought we didn't have any creativity really going forward. There was a couple of chances, but I think we let ourselves down in the first half. Second half, though, we came out and actually played like we had fans in the ground, which was good. Obviously, we'll talk about the supporters first because that's the main thing. I just thought it just made me realise how much I hated the games with no fans. It made me realise how boring it is without any. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean it's a sort of double-edged sword, isn't it? Like, the away form's not going to be as good next year when there's fans in all the stadiums. Hopefully it doesn't drop dramatically, but the home form will certainly be better. The way we play as well is going to be very interesting with fans because the way we've developed it, the team is to basically do exactly what we did yesterday. We're not, great on the ball unless we've got hammers on the pitch. So we defend well, we keep a good defensive shape, and we make the most of set pieces, which is exactly how it played out yesterday. But the defensive part of that, when you've got a 1-goal lead and you're seeing the game out, that's not as easy when there's fans in the ground because the anxiety from your own fans or the encouragement from the opposition fans, if you're away, is going to seep into the players. And I was worried yesterday that, because we were defending the 1 goal, whilst we pulled it off several times this year, more than anybody else, in fact, I thought the fans' sort of nervousness might impact the team. Didn't in this case, but that's something they're going to have to expect and get used to. If we're going to keep winning games like that, it won't be as simple as just being coached through the end of it. At the end of the game, by Carlo on the touchline, which is what they've got used to. Sooner or later, they won't be able to hear them, and it won't be able to hear him, and they'll have to make it second nature to have that sort of resolve to see out a game.
Well, I was thinking that because where I was sitting, first half, towards the end
of the first half, it got really, really, the fans were starting to turn on them, and which is unbelievable. It took Evertonians half an hour, but we sort of like, come on, get your heads in gear, that sort of stuff. There was all sorts of shouts from the crowd, and I was thinking, even when we scored, I was thinking, is this going to have a positive or negative effect now that we've scored? And Wolves kept having chances, and I was thinking, that could have an impact. The fact that there was people in there was the anxiety creeping in, and because we were only 1-0 up, I was thinking these players have got to start to get used to playing with that added edge, if you like, and having to perform for the crowd rather than just tactically winning a game. But no, it was great. I think it was handled really well as well. The free Mars bars was definitely a plus. Seeing that, you'll be seeing that all over Twitter. But yeah, Everton did give out free Mars bars, which was a great touch. It was just great to be back at the match. It was amazing to have that. You know, it's an unbelievable feeling to be back there. And as much as it didn't feel to me like a normal game, it felt like anything but. I felt a bit like I'd gone to watch like an under-23s game, just with the reduced capacity and the people weren't quite sure how to behave. When the team with how the team was playing, it was it just, I don't know, it didn't feel like a normal game. It definitely felt like a bizarre thing, but it was great. It was brilliant. It was good to be there. Good to see like all the stuff you're used to seeing. All the chippies packed outside the grounds and stuff like that, and all the pubs and stuff like that. It just adds to it, doesn't it? Really, it was amazing. But getting on to the game, couple of performances I thought stood out. I thought Godfrey was my man of the match. I thought he was brilliant. I think Richarlison had a good game, gave away the ball a couple of times, but he obviously scored the winner, which is gonna get him pushed up there in terms of his performance. But who stood out for you, Terry?
Michael Keane thought was excellent. He just dealt with everything that came into the Everton box throughout the game. Did himself no harm in front of Gareth Southgate, so close to the England squad selection. Seamus Coleman, I think, had a really good game. I think he fed off the crowd. Same, you say Richarlison did. He definitely did, and so did Seamus. Yerry Mina felt had a good game. Ben Godfrey. Sigurdsson. I think Sigurdsson had a good game. I would probably give me man of the match to Michael Keane now.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. People will talk about that really, really good tackle he made, which was brilliant tackle. But I don't know. When it comes to Seamus, I've seen him have much better games for Everton, and I've seen him have much worse. I think by Seamus Coleman's standards for what he used to be like, I think if you were to give him that exact performance a couple of years ago, you'd say it was a pretty average one from him. I just think there was a couple of times where I thought he could have overlapped a bit more. I think Godfrey, as the right centre-back, did a lot of the work for him going forward. He wasn't really great crossing the ball. I think he did feed off the crowd and he was a focal point on the pitch. But I don't know, when it comes to Coleman, I think people are talking up his performance, but I think there was a lot better players out there for me than Coleman last night. I actually hit him in the face with the ball as well, which was great. When Adama Traoré's shot that got tipped over, I caught it and threw it back on, and it just hit Seamus Coleman, and he I think I scared him. He jumped out of his skin, but so I'll just think of that now. It was brilliant. But no, I think Sigurdsson, all right. I think he sort of a bit scared to go forward, but he did have a couple of good opportunities, didn't he, to get the second? He probably should have put one or two of them away. But again, when it comes to creativity, Luca Dean going forward, put a few good chances in. I thought Calvert-Lewin could have easily had a goal. I think earlier on in the season, he puts them away, doesn't he? I think he can be a bit disappointed with how he played last night. I think he could have put a couple more of those chances away. What do you think?
No, I don't particularly think that's fair. I don't think we made very good chances for him. I think every time he got the ball in and around the penalty area, it was always behind him, or wasn't. He had one shot where he took it. He went around Connor Cody, stole a march on him with the diagonal run, and he made the keeper make a save at his near post. That was probably his best chance. But no, I'm very realistic about what type of player Dominic Calvert-Lewin is. If you don't make chances for him, you're not going to get much out of him. If you do make chances for him, he'll put them away. So you can't, it's a lazy, thing now. But when he got compared, or the comparison was made in style, if not in quality, to Inzaghi earlier in the season, I remember watching Inzaghi. Inzaghi wouldn't, make his own chances or or pick the ball up outside the box and do much with it. That wasn't his game, and he's clearly being told, Calvert-Lewin, to stay between the posts. Finish finish the chances that come your way, and if they don't come his way, he can't do it, can he? So, I wouldn't say that he had a good game or a bad game. He just didn't have much to go off, and that's the top and bottom for me. You can't criticise him when he's doing his job. The others aren't making the chances for him. That's the one thing I'd say about the team in the second half. Even though they improved, they didn't make very many chances. They literally made, the goal and several other little flashpoints like Sigurdsson's shots, and that was it.
We want to talk a little bit about Adama Traoré last night for Wolves, because he a lot of Evertonians on Twitter, he's like Marmite, isn't he? It's either, I'd never have him playing for us, or I'd love that Traoré playing for us. What's your opinion on him? Because I thought last night he was a bit, he was very, if I was a Wolves fan, I would have been very frustrated with him.
He has an end product, he'd be at Man City. He's just an headless chicken. He's a big, vending machine on legs, and he's really fast, but he can't do nothing with the ball. He skinned Luca Dean about 10 times, and he didn't make one serious chance out of it. He's the reason a lot of fans, I think, look at him and go, I'd love him, is because we've got no pace, and he's got loads of it, and just skinned and runs past people for fun. If we had players with pace and quality, you wouldn't look at him and envy having him. You'd think, state of him. But there's been loads of players like him, and there'll be loads more. They just all didn't look like him. Just pace and power, and no ability to finish or to finish a move or to create anything. That's why he got past us loads, but never actually looked like scoring.
For me, he's one I'd love us to stay as far away from in the summer as possible, because lots of people now are starting to talk about the transfer policy and that, and he's a very Steve Walsh signing, isn't he? If we were to do that, because he's like a Yannick Bolasie type guy to me, or someone like that. He looks great on the pitch, but I think he's got like 2 goals and 3 assists all season, and I hate to say it, but you better just keep an Alex Iwobi, aren't you? Really, you'll get the same return out of him, but no, he's one of the...
I wouldn't go that far. I'd sooner have him than Iwobi. But I'm just saying he would. First of all, he wouldn't sell to us. Second of all, he wouldn't probably come to us. He'd probably want a bigger step up than that. Third of all, he'd cost a lot of money. So it's just a non-starter, I'm afraid. Yeah,
it's
the money it'd take to get him out of there. You could get someone a lot better, put it that way.
He needs some serious coaching, I think. And to be honest, Terry, there's a reason he's still at Wolves, because he's been linked away now for a long time. Every summer, it seems to be this club want Adama Traoré, this club want him. There's a reason he hasn't moved yet, and it's because he's got no end product. And I don't think he's young either, so I think he's quite a forgettable player personally, and I don't understand where people would want him. Another thing as well, James was rested. Yeah, it's weird. It's like if there was ever a cotton wool player, it's him, isn't it? Or the luxury player, if you like. He just seems to play whenever Carlo wants him to. Really, that's the in and out of it. He's very much he just steps in whenever he needs to, and he always brings the quality when he does step in. But he wasn't in last night. What did you think of that, Terry?
Well, I've been thinking about this. Basically, I don't think I know enough to have a proper opinion, because I think there's more going on there than meets the eye. I think, put it this way, we brought him in. We knew full well what we were going to get. He was a star player who had injury issues. If he was capable of playing 38 games, he wouldn't have come to Everton, because he's world class, not the position we were in when we got him. So we brought him in. We've had to sort of manage his injuries. We've missed him for large, sections of the season, but we've got about as much as I could have hoped for out of him, games-wise. I think I'm of the opinion that he has had an injury in the season that isn't public, because the Colombian journalists always seem to ask, sort of pointed questions at Ancelotti, and he got a cob on with them in the end of the week, didn't he, in the press conference?
Yeah.
I think they know that we don't, and they're just not saying it. Don't know whether he's got an injury. There There was a talk earlier in the season of an injured testicle. That hasn't been mentioned.
I remember that. It was a funny one.
That hasn't been mentioned for ages. Maybe it's something like that. Maybe it's something else. Maybe he's got a personal issue. I don't know. But Carlo seems to be managing him very carefully. And I think we've got as much out of him as we can expect. And I honestly feel that, if we'd have beat Sheffield United, he'd have played this game. I think the thinking between the manager and the player was, well, we've blown it now, so why play me when I'm not 100%?
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, if it is just I'm a bit tired, I'm not playing, that's not on. Don't care who you are. You couldn't have sat on the bench and come on for 10 minutes, or you know what I mean. I if you're not injured enough to not play, then you need to be, making yourself available. You're never a football club player, like regardless of your level of talent and fame, you need to show the commitment. But I think over the season he has. I think this game was given to him off because of accumulation of fatigue was the word. And we thought that there wasn't as much riding on it, in terms of qualification. Obviously, there is a little bit now, but it's still a long shot. I think we might see him against City because it's back on the table. It's on the edge, but it is back on the table. But I don't know. I'm not. There's a lot of half known, half understood information going on around James, and I think we'll learn more when Carlo does his press conference for the City game. I think he'll get asked about that straight away, and it'll either be it was an injury and he didn't communicate it very well. He had fatigue in his muscle or something like it. It won't be as clear cut as he was a bit tired and he didn't want to play. If it is that, it's not on. Don't want to see any more of that. But I don't think it's as simple as that.
Yeah, I think there's a lot more between them two personally that we don't see. Talking of Europe there, it is like a massive long shot, isn't it? But all we can do is try and go and beat City on Sunday. What do you think, Terry? Because it's just, I think we needed to beat Sheffield United, didn't we? It was just such a stupid game of football. I'm still angry about it now, even after going the match last night and watching us win for the first time in over a year. I'm still fuming about Sheffield United, which is just the world of being an Evertonian, because we were absolutely rubbish. One of the worst Everton performances I've ever seen, that Sheffield United game. Easily, without a doubt, it was. It was horrible. But where does that put us now? I think are we still 8th? We've just got to try our best, and we've got to try and get a win and hope that things go for us. Weirder stuff has happened, hasn't it? But let's just try and, while remaining as positive as we can. What do you think? I
don't think there's any chance, I've got to be honest. We're relying on too many variables. If it was in our hands and we had to go and beat Man City in front of fans for the first time, and they've got the Champions League final as the next game, I think that's hard enough. But even if we did do that, we're still banking on Tottenham slipping up. And I know people are all expecting Leicester to turn them over, but it's not a guarantee that, because Tottenham is still a decent team. Basically, going into the game, you've got to hope to better Tottenham's result and at least match Arsenal's, because we could feasibly finish 10th and we could feasibly finish 7th, but we don't know. We're relying on Brighton to beat Arsenal, which I don't think's likely, not impossible. They beat City the other day. Can't remember who Leeds are playing. And Tottenham are obviously playing Leicester. It's a long shot. We've given ourselves too much to do. We're not only, we've got the hardest job in the league is winning against Manchester City at City's ground. And then on top of that, we're relying on other teams to help us out. It's not going to happen. Be amazing if it did, but if we'd have beat Sheffield United, we'd be in the box seat. We could even be looking at getting, a draw being enough, but
let's just see what happens. We'll talk about it a bit more in the preview for the City game, which make sure you watch that video when it comes out. Thanks, Terry, for joining me. It was good. At least we got that 1-0 home win in front of the fans for the last game at Goodison this season. But hope you did enjoy it. If you did, make sure you give it a like and leave all your comments down below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.